Hey, it's AJ, and I got a question for you. When was the last time you did something for the first time? During the global pandemic of 2020, I decided to try out four-wheel driving, and the results were interesting. Oh, jeez, what the hell am I doing? Now, to give you a bit of context around this crazy adventure of mine, I have always been a luxury car guy. I've been a sports car guy. You know, give me that Porsche instead of that Toyota Land Cruiser any day. But for some strange reason, over the last year or so, I've been really checking out a whole bunch of YouTube videos about adventuring, four-wheel driving, just seeing places that you cannot normally get access to unless you have one of these vehicles. So I became deeply curious, and then the pandemic hit, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. And the differences when you go off-roading or four-wheel driving is they're really subtle nuances, but you need to change the way you think. For example, when we go four-wheel driving, we grip the wheel with our thumbs out. And that's to stop you from ripping your thumbs out if you hit a hole in the road. And then you've got a second gear lever, which is your low range gearing. And you definitely need that to go four-wheel driving. Otherwise, the vehicle's just going to get stuck. The third biggest difference between driving on the road and going four-wheel driving is that you definitely need to get your tire pressures correct, because instead of pumping up your tire fully, you actually have to deflate it so that it molds over the surface of whatever you're driving on. Huge differences. And it's these little nuances that really, just learning new things really lit my brain up, and it was fantastic. So thanks to the magic of YouTube, I learned a little bit about what I needed to do to make my first trip off the bitumen. So I went out and bought an air compressor and basically figured out how to use that. And then I headed out on my first trip. First four-wheel drive experience. Slightly shitting myself. See how we go. Track's not that dry, but not that wet either. Fingers crossed. So apparently you have to let down the tires. I'm so sorry, tires. I just can't make it. No, Cameron. Tires down. Now just have to put into low range. Oh, we are in four-wheel drive. That little icon right there. Four-wheel drive. Oh my God. Ah! And this is the track ahead. What the hell am I doing? Ah! Okay, so what happens next is a little bit embarrassing, and thank God I didn't capture it on camera. I started driving up this hill, and right when I was near the top, the terrain turned to mud, and the vehicle just started slipping down. So I immediately stopped the vehicle and put on the handbrake, and I was channeling my YouTube knowledge. And what I remember was that drivers in this predicament in a failed hill climb, what you must do is slowly, controlled, reverse the car down back the hill and try again. So I tried that, except it went horribly wrong. And as I was reversing, the car started to slide. And all of a sudden I found myself on the side like this, ready to tip over. And I freaked the hell out. And then I tried to do a 3-point turn on the side of this hill. And it was a complete and utter disaster. That's enough excitement for me. I think I need some proper friends to go out with and play around properly on this thing. Ah, damn it. Oh well, good fun. Hopefully I'll make it over that hill. So after I got back home, I went straight to YouTube and I tried to dissect where I had gone wrong. And I watched so many videos and I read some tutorials and blogs and just consumed as much knowledge as I could in order to help me overcome this. And one of the videos I watched, I saw this track nearby, and this guy basically filmed a video of driving over this track. So I knew what it exactly looked like. And the best thing was he did it in his grandma's Subaru. And I thought, far out, if a car like that can get through this thing, a fully capable four-wheel drive can nail it instantly. So off I went again. So So I'm driving pretty well now and my confidence is building up and it's fantastic. I'm having the time of my life. And then I come to this massive river crossing. Well, it wasn't really a massive river crossing. It was more like a little puddle. But again, channeling YouTube, drop your front wheels in, drop your rear wheels in, and then send it. Now, I know that was a little puddle and you're probably all laughing at me like that, but remember, this is the first time I'm going through these things. I have no competence in this whatsoever. All I've got is knowledge, newly acquired knowledge that I haven't quite made my own. And that is what is so exciting about all this stuff. Like, I have not done something like this for a very long time. And it just awakens your senses, awakens your mind, and it really stretches you in order for you to grow. And that's magical. So having grown now, and I'm a little bit more capable, a tiny smidget more capable, I went back to the hill that conquered me and I was determined to get up it. And you know what? This time I did it. It was so easy. And then I went on to do another hill and another until I found Mount Kilimanjaro. There was no way I was going up that hill. So I parked the car at the bottom of the hill and I took the hike up. Well, this is the reward you get for conquering your fears, apparently. So I came home from that trip quite chuffed. I mean, I'd conquered my fears and pushed myself to the limits, and I also knew where my limits were because I think that's really important. But that view at the top, that was just a magical moment for me because remember, I've been watching all these videos to this point, and all these videos of four-wheel drivers, they all talk about taking their vehicles to these remote places and seeing views like that. And I got to experience that based on my skills and overcoming my fears. I got to experience that same thing. It's magical. And you know what? I wanted more. I wanted to go out and explore more, but I also knew the limits of my capabilities. So luckily, a few months later, a friend of mine came to visit and he's got a little bit more knowledge than me, a lot more experience than me driving tough tracks. So he took me out with him and we ended up at Mount Unachievable again. And he takes one look at it and goes, "Yep, I'm doing this." And off he goes.
What a machine!
So after cruising up that hill with ease, he turns around to me and he says, "Mate, it's your turn." And of course I'm like, "No way, how are you getting me up there, bro? No way in hell am I doing it." And luckily for him, he had the patience to work with me. And so he decides to jump in the car with me in the passenger seat and we try going up the hill in my car.
Oh shit, man.
At least I know what the grab handle's there for. Oh shit.
Sorry? You're alright.
You're insane, man. Damn! The master at work.
The car's more capable than you think.
So here's the first lesson from AJ's adventures in four-wheel driving. Perspective is everything. Outside the car, I'm looking up that hill and it's massive, it's huge. All my fears come into play and I'm freaking the hell out. But inside the car, completely different experience. My capable, confident friend is driving. I'm in the passenger seat. I'm looking at this hill and yeah, it's a little bit scary, but it doesn't feel as bad. It didn't feel that steep. It didn't feel like it was that much of a climb. Completely different experience inside the car than outside the car. And that's why shifting perspective is magical if you've got the courage to do it. Because we are so set in our ways. But when we have the courage to get out of our way, and see things from a different angle, everything changes. So after spending a bit of time on that hill, we took a couple of happy snaps and then it was time to bring the cars back down again. So Dan hops in his car, descends like a champion. And now it's my turn. And he didn't let me outsource that task to him. So now I have to take this car down. Jesus, what has this bloke got me into? Just drive the ruts. Just drive the ruts. Jeez.
Jesus, suffering fuck.
That felt amazing. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how excited I was afterwards, after conquering my fears. The adrenaline was pumping and it was just, it was so good. And funny thing was, after I did that drive, I was able to conquer all these other tracks that I'd been avoiding for months. And what changed? I didn't have any new skills, but I had a lot more experience. I had experience from someone who knew what they were doing. And through that experience, it gave me confidence to do the same thing. Dan showed me exactly what my vehicle could do. And through that, once I knew what could be done, it was about taking that and making that experience my own, which has really been my life story. For those of you following me through my adventures, you'll know that I grew up with a very strict and conservative dad who was always telling me I can't be doing stuff and how useless I am because I can't get the A at school. So he would always tell me what I couldn't be doing, and I'd be looking around seeing all these other people doing it. And when I saw what other people were doing, I knew that it was possible. And then it was a case of working out how I could do it too. You know, a lot of the time we fly blindly into situations because we're forced to. We have no confidence, we have no clarity, we've got no clue how things are going to turn out. And I'm so lucky in my day job as a people development speaker. I get to work with leaders and their teams. I get to work with business partners. I get to work with emerging leaders to help them bring clarity and confidence to whatever they're trying to achieve. Essentially, I act as a Dan to guide them through that uncertainty, and the results are magical. So that's the second lesson I want to leave you with. You got to build confidence as quickly as possible so that you too can be able to navigate the uncertainty ahead. The third lesson in AJ's 4-wheel driving adventures is perhaps the most important one, and that is drive your own hills. So much of what you've seen in today's clip has been me trying to conquer obstacles that I consider massive. But you, based on your perspective, might be looking at that going, what's this guy on about? That hill wasn't even that steep. That creek that he was talking about was just a puddle. Hasn't he seen YouTube? There's been so many other 4-wheel drivers that drop themselves off cliffs. What is this guy on about? Yeah, but that's them. These are my hills, and I have to drive them. So much time, money, and energy is wasted by looking at other people. And yeah, you got to be aware of others, but why on earth would you compare yourself to someone else's achievements based on entirely different circumstances to your own? That seems like a really stupid thing to do, but people do it. Maybe it's human nature, but it doesn't serve us well. And instead of being inspired and motivated by other people's achievements, I feel as though we become a little bit demoralized because we're constantly comparing what we're doing to other people. And we can't really afford to be demoralized, can we? We've got so much to achieve in this lifetime. Why would we waste a minute of that? A moment, if you will, comparing ourselves to others? Yeah, you've got to be aware of things, but don't let it consume you. Drive your own hills. So there you go, 3 lessons from AJ's 4-wheel driving adventures. Shift perspective, build confidence quickly, and drive your own hills. If you've enjoyed this video, please do us a huge favor and give it a big thumbs up on whatever platform you're consuming it on, because it will really help me get this message out there to inspire more people to do amazing things. My name is AJ Kulatunga. Thanks so much for watching this video, and whatever happens in business and in life, I wish you nothing but success. Take care.